Hey guys, Pastor Preston is my name. I'm so excited to come your way today. So I want to talk to you on something very beautiful. Okay. When we learn, we must learn to put what we learn into correct context. Otherwise, we will use the message wrongly. When we look at the church today, a couple of people pick scriptures out of context and just mess themselves up. The danger is maybe if the thing does not work exactly as they are quoted it, they begin to feel bad, and feel like, oh, maybe God is not right and all that stuff. But you really did not take our time to read that statement in context to see if the statement is being used rightly in the right context for which it is used. Okay, so until you look in that light, you most likely will not get some things rightly. So, for example, in John chapter number 20, verse number 29, if I'll be right, there was a beautiful statement there. And Jesus told him, he was talking about Thomas. He says, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. If you look at the Greek word for blessed, he wasn't talking about some material things being given to you. As a matter of fact, he expresses a capacity. Okay, and then in Matthew chapter number 5, if you read all the blessed are these, blessed are they there, it wasn't saying that if you do this, God will bless you. No, it was saying that you are blessed. That's why you can manifest such things. So Taurus, it expressed a capacity. So in proper understanding of that statement, you will understand that once you begin to be with someone or learn something for which you get capacity to be able to serve or respond to certain challenges or need, you are classified as being blessed. So in the Bible, blessed, grace, a couple of these things have the same meaning. Okay, they express capacity. Now let me say this: if you put blessed on the English dictionary, it might mean to have some material stuff, right? But I'm telling you, Bible usage of blessed, right? In a lot of the expressions that you find in the Bible, you could just do your research by checking the Greek word and checking the usage. You will understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so Jesus now said to Thomas, blessed are those who will not see but had believed. You see, the ability to believe without seeing is being blessed. However, we ought to see to believe. So is it a wrong thing to see to believe? Now watch this. When Jesus showed up with Peter, right, while Peter was, trying to get fish, he could not. Watch this. Jesus did not just say to Peter, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. Peter would have doubted Jesus. Yeah? What's your proof, Pastor Preston? When he left, he went back a fishing. So he wasn't sure, right? But what motivated Peter to follow Jesus? Read the context and take every single detail that you find. First, Jesus Christ instructed him, okay, to throw back the nets. He even wanted to doubt. He said to Jesus, "We'll trouble the water, and we know that there will be no fish." He says, however, at thy word. Notice, at thy word. Then he cast the net at the word of Jesus. Okay, because he understands that by the principle, it will not yield nothing. Okay, so someone says, okay, well, but he had trust. Well, he didn't have an option anyway. Okay, let me try to explain what I mean. He doesn't have an option. If he did not obey him, he will still not have fish. If he obeyed him and fish did not come, then it will still have been the same thing. So it looked like a try and luck thing to say, okay, let me just try it. Okay, let me just try it. That's why it says at thy word, not necessarily because I believe that this kind of thing can happen, but because you have said it, I am trying you at your word. Notice that. And then he put it, and then fish came. And immediately fish came. Next, Jesus said was, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. Now, why will Peter follow? Because of the antecedent. If you could cause fish to come out of the water, that fish should not have come out by fishing principle, right? Even though I don't see you well, I'll be sure that you can take care of me. I'll be sure that every other thing that you're saying most likely now will make some sense. Listen to me and listen well. I think one of the mistakes that a lot of ladies will make will say things like, well, Or guys will say, well, like, follow me now that I have nothing, you don't know what tomorrow holds and all that blah blah stuff. Listen, everyone that have succeeded, right, that used to be very poor, check them when they were poor. They were smart. They had results at that level. They only just lacked better opportunity. Okay. They were never completely useless people. I'm telling you, do your research. A lot of them. Okay. So in other words, you cannot be expecting something for tomorrow when there is nothing happening today. Okay. Today is what you created yesterday, and tomorrow is what you will create today. So what you're doing right now will determine what will happen tomorrow. Yes, I tell you, right? So it's important that you look at people's present action, right, to judge the future. A lot of people say things like, well, how would do I really know who a man is or a woman is, right? I want to pick for marriage and the rest of them and all that. Look at them today. Yeah, look at them today. Tomorrow is an amplified version of what you are today. Okay. And every other thing that may add up, it's on the probability. Okay. So you cannot just jump on them and assume. I see a lot of people who say things like, oh, I married her when I didn't have anything, right? When you didn't have anything that you married her. Well, now I have a lot of things now. Thank God that she followed me. Even when you did not have anything, you had prospect. At that level, you were doing some stuff that were yielding. Okay. You were not foolish. You were doing some stuff that were working. So look at this. Look at Jesus. So first, Jesus understood that he needed to do something for Peter to believe that he could do the big things that he was saying, right? Next, when Jesus was talking about the same people he will hang out with or the people he will choose, he also told you, watch this, he also told you, right, that he that is faithful in little will be faithful in much. Okay, right? Also, we saw where it says, he that puts his hand on the plow and looks back is not fit. We saw several people that Jesus rejected. We saw several people that Jesus rejected because they were not fit, right? The one says, let me go bid them farewell. The other one says, I want to go and bury my father. Just let the dead bury the dead. The other one says, let me go bid them farewell. He says, no, come follow the stop. That the other one says, he says, go give all that you have to the poor and follow. So you see, Jesus had criteria for the people he chose. Come even to marriage. Look at it says, he that findeth a good thing. Did you notice it tells you to find marriage? That means you just don't hook up with anybody. You don't hook up because they're beautiful, they're pretty, or any stuff. No, he says fine. If he says fine, that means there's certain things you must be looking out for you to choose them. Take this very strongly. So I think, and I've seen very clearly how a lot of Christians are done stupid things or said stupid things because they really don't understand in context. They say, well, blessed are those who walk in faith without seeing any stuff. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So we just jump on some stuff without some kind of trust and believe and all that stuff. Now, listen to me. I am not also trying to say that we must always use eye calculation for every stuff that we need to get on, right? Being now carnal in our perspective. I want you to get me in context. God said to Prophet Samuel in the house of Jesse, he said to him, he says, man look at the external, but God looks at the internal. So for you to be able to look at the internal, you have to be God. But look at it, but God still looks. So there's a looking. So watch this. We have to see to believe. We have to see to believe. If I am carnal, then I need to see your capacity to believe that there can be much more. If I am spiritual, I need to connect divinely internally to see if there are weights of the spirit, a granting of the spirit before I proceed. However, if you don't see, okay, before you jump in, then you are making a great mistake. So watch this. Check. A lot of people who complain in marriage, if you critically ask them questions, you realize that there was a red flag that they ignored, right? That amplified itself in marriage. A lot of people who complain over a staff or a partner, right, that they work with as concerning a job. If you investigate thoroughly, they either did not take some time to check them properly before employing them, or they saw the red flags and they ignored it. Listen here, you need to see how they perform in little before you can entrust them to something of higher capacity or of greater worth. Otherwise, you might be doing some stuff under probability, and your life is too precious to be running a probability stuff. Are you still there? Okay. So when the pastor tells you, I know Lord, the Lord says we'll take over the world, we'll do that great stuff, we'll do this and all that, you will need to first see what they are currently doing. Are they excellent? Are they financially prudent? Are they smart in their thinking? Are they humble enough to take God holistically? If all that is not appearing and then you trust them, then you are very foolish. I'm telling you, that's the point. Okay. So Jesus, the people who followed Jesus saw, okay, like look at the other guy, says, come see the one that the Bible wrote about. That was convincing factor. Oh, Peter, he had done that stuff. That was convincing factor. What about John and his brother? Of course, don't forget, John and his brother and Peter, they were in the same field and they were not just far from where Peter was. So they had seen what he had done with Peter. Okay. What about Luke? Yeah, Luke had heard about what Jesus was doing already. So Jesus did not show up as one guy who does not know where he was going or what he was doing, right? As a matter of fact, it was what he was doing that attracted people to them. So if you cannot demonstrate capacity of any kind and people just jump up with you, that'll be a mistake. And if someone who you want to hang up with to accomplish a certain task, if they will not demonstrate some form of capacity and you jump on them, that's not being, you're faithless. No, that's being stupid. It's important that you understand that people who you want to trust for bigger things must at first be faithful in little things. And let me say this, and not everybody who has been faithful in smaller things, so to speak, can even be faithful in bigger things, depending on how much they are willing to push. You see that now? So you need to carefully and constructively look at certain things before you cast huge in. Otherwise, regret might be the bone of contention. That's something really, really great. So you have to see to believe, right? If you are carnal or a babe, you need to see what they have done, right? To trust what they're telling you that they can do. If you're spiritual, then you look deeper than even what they have done to see in the spirit how much they can do. So Jesus said to Thomas, he's more blessed. Why? Because Thomas had lived with him for 3.5 years. He should have trusted him enough. You see that now? That's why he said it was more blessed when he expresses himself with Thomas as against in the case of Peter, who he was just showing up at. So he didn't need to say those kind of things with Peter. Rather, he needed to do some stuff. Lastly, remember when Jesus Christ showed up, when Peter was, he had gone a fishing and they were fishing and all that, and Jesus showed up. Did you notice he didn't come and say, hey, what's wrong with you? He performed another miracle. And when he was done performing the miracle, he boiled the fish, they ate. And when it was done, he now says, lovest me more than this. You see? So he didn't just say, how will you because of the scared of this and all that stuff? No. He also responded to his need as in a pew. You see that? And then next he says, let's move to the higher level. You have to trust me more than this, right? I remember one other story. I said that it was going to be the last, but there was another one in Matthew chapter number 6, while Jesus Christ told them, be careful of the leaven of the Pharisees. And they thought it was food, right? Because they had forgotten to carry bread. And Jesus Christ said, what's wrong with you? Right? Have you not watched me perform a lot of miracle and all that stuff? So if I tell you be careful of the leaven of the Pharisee, I'm not trying to say don't put your eye on their bread, right? Because we didn't carry bread. I still can do miracle. So you must not forget that the one who did before can still do again. So if you're following a pastor, and God to use them to do some mighty stuff and all that, right? And then maybe 1, 2 stuff is shaking and all that, and then you're getting scared and worried and all that. Ask yourself some very vital questions. Did the Lord demonstrate capacity through him, right? Did I find capacity at some point or at any point and all that? That should convince your mind. But if there had not been any, if you are just the one trusting them out of pity and sentiment and the rest of them, you might just be in the wrong journey in your life. This very important truth, and I believe it brings you a lot of a blessing, right? Think about it. Look at it again, think about it, and then begin to structure from there, so you don't begin to build your life in a very foolish way, right? And be expecting God for some kind of miracle. You need to look at statements correctly in context to know how they can be applied. So you just don't apply things out of context and be, expectant, and then you are not getting any stuff out of it. This is very important. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.